Hey guys, welcome to my channel. If you are watching this video, that means you are living in Luxembourg or thinking of going there or just wondering how life is in Luxembourg. So today I'm going to talk about my personal experience and share the reasons why I left Luxembourg. In my previous video, I explained why I think Luxembourg can be a nice starting ground for a young professional out of university. In this video, I will explain why I left Luxembourg after being there only for 1 year. And when I say 1 year, I exaggerate because it was a year when I was coming back and forth from Luxembourg via Paris to Switzerland. I was traveling a lot. I was looking for an opportunity to leave the country and go someplace else. As you can understand, in my case, I really wanted to leave, despite the fact that I kind of liked my job. I really believe that it's a nice place if you're looking for interesting work in the financial sector. I will start with some reasons and some things that I don't really like about Luxembourg, but that are not very important for me. I could have dealt with them if it wasn't for another reason, which I'm gonna talk about a little bit later in the video. Still, these points are a little bit annoying and you need to get ready for that if you are considering moving to Luxembourg shortly. One of the aspects that I didn't like about living in Luxembourg is, of course, its bad weather. And it might sound as a cliche, but if you are a person like me who likes to go outdoors, different activities, doing sports outside, it might not be the best idea to live in Luxembourg unless you really don't care. You can run, you can do whatever. When it's raining, where there's a lot of wind, gusts, and so on. But I guess even if you are used to conditions like that, it's getting a little bit annoying, a little bit tiring, especially in autumn and in winter. It's always like that. There is no sun. That's just based on the year I spent there, but maybe I was not lucky. A lot of things that you can do outdoors, I did them indoors. For example, I went to the gym almost every day because it was just a better option rather than staying indoors. Another aspect that I didn't really like about Luxembourg, although I think not everyone will agree with me on that, is that wherever you go, you're gonna see the same people, gonna hang out in the same places on the same day of the week, which can be a nice habit if those people are your friends. But just to give you an example, I was taking a famously known tram to go to work, and sometimes I would see all the same people at the same minute of the day taking the same tram, and the same applies for any nice place in the city. So for me, it was a bit tiring because I come from a big city where you can get lost if you want to. Also, I am an introvert, so I'm not necessarily a big fan of meeting and coming across people I know all the time, especially when I want to be alone. Another point that I didn't like about Luxembourg is specific to my district because I was living next to the railroad station, the Gar area. Just be warned not to rent anything there because there's a lot of drug dealers. I was going to my gym in the evening and sometimes I really felt insecure, and you would say to yourself, yeah, but this is a problem in a lot of cities nowadays. That's true, but normally, if it's a very small city like Luxembourg City, for example, you would expect not to have this intensity of a problem. So for me, it was a big no. And normally in Luxembourg, security is being sold as one of the reasons for why it's so nice to live there. So in my case, it was not true at all. Another point about Luxembourg, which also is a bit debatable, I am spoiled in this regard, as before that I was living in Paris and before that I was living in Moscow. So I'm really used to rich cultural life going on. meaning that you have a lot of exhibitions, you have a lot of museums to visit, a lot of general events. And of course, all of that is missing from Luxembourg. So if you are a big fan of art, you might look for some options elsewhere. There is a joke that one of the best things about Luxembourg is that there are train connections, there are lots of planes leaving it, so basically that you can leave. It has a very nice location between several countries which you can visit. If you get a train, you can go to Paris very quickly for a weekend, but it's not very nice to live in a country thinking I'm going to wait for the weekend to get away to someplace nicer. And finally, the real reason why I left Luxembourg, because let's be honest, everything that I just mentioned can apply to many countries probably, and you can deal with those things if you have an interesting job, friends, and something meaningful going on in your life. The real point why I couldn't stay longer in Luxembourg is that I had to live in a shared apartment. My salary was not sufficient to pay myself even a small studio somewhere. And because I do not come from Europe, I couldn't live in any other neighboring country, which a lot of people do. If I'd been able to live in France, I would have done that, because even if you spend a lot of time on commuting, you can still afford to get a place on your own. But unfortunately, it was not the option. For me, I had to stay in Luxembourg and share an apartment with two other girls working in similar environment. And although they were very nice, very well-meaning, they had parties, there were a lot of people in my house, and I really need my personal space. I really need some privacy. It was just not for me. I couldn't get around this idea. I couldn't understand how you can be working in the financial sector, even if it's in the very beginning, and you're not a student anymore, but you still cannot afford even a little studio somewhere in Luxembourg or outside. I was going to consider those options, but then I came up with a better plan to leave Luxembourg and live in another country. If you can cope with sharing your private space, sharing your apartment with other people, or if you're a couple or family and can live together, that can be much more affordable in Luxembourg. So in that case, why not? If you are not afraid of bad weather, if you're not afraid of dealing with the same people in the same room every day, I really hope that Luxembourg can work for you. Unfortunately, it didn't for me. I just wanted to share my experience so that you can weigh all the pros and cons if you're considering moving there. I hope it's been helpful. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I will read every single one of them. Your feedback, very important to me. I'll see you during one of the next videos.